The following contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Flashback.
They're coming!
Marshmallows? Frankenberry.
And Calchocula. Now all the monster cereals have bigger monster-sized marshmallows. Calchocula has enormous chocolatey marshmallows. It's a delicious part of this nutritious breakfast. New monster marshmallows are here.
The monster marshmallows are here.
They're everywhere.
Whoa!
Hello, boys. Marc.
I just pooped and it smells fabulous.
Lowell.
Welcome to my latest experiment. This is a big one.
It's the Marc and Lowell Show,
It was a show just for me and you, much like this podcast.
where two guys bring you stories and opinions
Our listeners will not laugh.
But if we laugh, then people will laugh.
built on 30 years of friendship.
You were singing operatically.
Yeah, while you were taking the camera.
And I was zooming in.
zooming in on my crotch.
Yes.
Along with a regular cast of pals to help them remember it all.
Camp is the best.
Get your shit together.
All right, so back to your swamp ass.
Say ho.
Now, here's Marc and Lowell.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Marc and Lowell Show. I am your host, Marc Ronick, and here with me, as always, my co-host, Lowell Melser. Hello, Lowell.
Hey, what's cooking?
What's cooking? How's your toe doing, buddy?
It's toeing up. I
Yeah.
had a little bit of an injury to my toe, which we can talk about.
He ain't lying.
Yeah, and he ain't lying.
And today, I didn't think we'd have him, but he is here. It's our good friend, Jonah Berger. Hello, Jonah.
Hey, brothers, what's happening?
Welcome back.
Thanks, boys.
Welcome back.
Smoother night tonight. Smoother night.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have Lisa here, not by her fault, because I thought this was just going to be a me and Lowell show because, let's face it, Jonah is not very dependable these days because
Truth.
he's quite busy.
Right.
So I just wasn't expecting it, but here he is. So my apologies to Lisa because I'm sure she would have been here tonight. But let's see, as far as any housekeeping, before we go any further, I do want to thank lots of the MandL listeners or whatever. I know in the fan page or the fan group, they sometimes say MandL campers. But I want to thank everybody because a lot of people have reached out lately. Ever since we had that episode, we were kind of talking about what are we going to do with the show? How are we going to move forward? Are we going to move forward? I've heard from a lot of people, some of the regulars, some people that I've never heard from before, basically just saying how much they love the show and kind of giving lots of words of encouragement.
I was going to say, it is interesting to see some names that I've never seen before say stuff. So that kind of means something because for every one person who's a name you haven't seen before, there's like probably 10 to 20 that
Truth.
feel the same way per person,
Right. It makes you realize that, okay, we are entertaining people. People are actually enjoying what we're doing. We're not just sitting here wasting our time.
Right, which sometimes it feels like it.
A little bit feels like it.
Just a little bit. We're only talking to each other and nobody is listening.
Just kind of like a big production of talking to one another.
Right, we're just playing fake podcast.
Big podcast.
He cooks the food.
He cooks the food.
And I do want to remind all of those faithful MandL campers to please go to our website, go to marcandlowell.com before you do your shopping. And when you see anything Amazon over there, please go ahead and click that banner and then go ahead and do your shopping. Because when you do, whatever you buy from Amazon at that point, we get a little piece, a little commission off of that. So it's a great way to support this show by doing what you already do.
Mm-hmm.
So go to marcandlowell.com and click on that MandL banner wherever you see it. So thank you in advance.
Can I jump in for a second?
Sure.
Speaking of Amazon, and can we kind of pull the curtain back a little bit as to why we have a pep in our step this evening?
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
I mean, I'll start
Okay.
because I keep the books, right?
Yes.
So I keep the books for Realm, and I'd say I started noticing it about more than a year ago.
Right.
That our funds were like they ain't what they used to be. I felt like we were getting a little tight some months, Then today, you send me a text. You're like, hey, do you notice if we get any Amazon payments?
Right.
And I said, dude, to be honest, I haven't seen an Amazon payment in forever.
Right.
And you and I know they did away with the program.
Well, they did away with certain parts of their affiliate program.
Right. And we had assumed, and when you assume.
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Right. We just figured, oh, well, it's not including us anymore.
Right.
So then... And if you want to take over from here,
so what happened?
We don't have to give the dollar amount.
No.
So yeah,
right.
So then you started doing some research.
Right. I decided to do some research because I had received an email from Amazon affiliate program saying, "Hey, we've made some changes to our policies. Please come visit our website so you can be up to date."
Right.
So that's what I did, but I've had this little bitter feeling about Amazon because I was like, that was a nice little revenue stream for us, and now we can't do it anymore. So, but I reluctantly went to check it out, and that got me poking around and looking at our past reports of the payments that they would send us.
Right.
And then I noticed like a recent payment. It said that they had paid us X amount of dollars on September 1st.
And I was like, nope.
Yeah, that was
Nape.
That was when I was like confused. That's when I reached out to you.
Yeah.
So I looked further and it was showing every month over the past, every single month.
You said didn't you say since 2017?
Well, no, I mean, it goes back from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Since we started using this program.
It's more than a year.
Oh, yeah. No, well, we've been using Amazon for years, but.
Yeah, but they stopped.
So I'll tell you what had happened. So then I decided, all right, well, clearly they're still tracking the fact that our listeners are being faithful listeners and purchasing through our website. So I got on to one of those little chat windows with a real life customer service person.
Which, by the way, that can be excellent nowadays.
With Amazon, it's really good, I will say. Their customer service people are friendly, well-spoken, easy to work with. And I'm not just saying that because of the rest of the story. So the long story short is I explained to the guy what's going on. He's like, well, let's see. Let me look. I said, I thought maybe the program was canceled, but I'm kind of seeing that you guys are saying you're paying me, but I have not received anything. Let me take a look. And then he goes away for a little bit. He's like, yeah, do you know how long it's been? And I said, really? I have no idea. Maybe 10, 12 months, something like that. He's like, okay, hold on. And then, I'm envisioning on the computer. And he comes back and he's like, no, sir, actually, we haven't paid you since July of 2017. And I'm just like, what?
Almost 2 years.
And there was no question about it. He was like, oh, yeah, I see the payments. We've never sent them through. So I don't know what was happening because after that, the fact that he told me it was that long, and then he gave us a dollar amount, which was, we can say, which was several $1,000s.
Yeah. It was 2 months worth of payments.
It was almost 2 years worth of payments.
I mean, 2 years worth of payments.
Yeah. So I didn't bother even asking what happened, but he basically just said, go in and update your payment information, and I'll finish writing this ticket up, and we'll get you paid back in no time.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, thank you.
Now we're going to get all new equipment and upgrade the studio and do the whole thing.
And I know this will embarrass Mark because he's a humble guy, but before the show started recording, he did tell me that he was giving Lisa and I our due cut of it, and I just want to say thanks, man. That was really unexpected and over the top, and appreciated. So thank you.
No problem. And I will also hand over that bill that I need to give you for all of the website and consulting work that I've done for you.
The bill.
So
the bill.
I'll give you that bill when I give you your cut.
I'm looking forward to it.
You son of a bitch.
Put it on my tab.
Yeah.
All right. So, Lowell, what happened to your toe? Because we were going to record last night, but you told me you had to cancel because you had an early doctor's appointment today,
right,
because of your toe.
Man, is there nothing worse than having a doctor's appointment at 8 a.m.?
Oh man,
sucks.
That's like it's like the 8 o'clock class in college,
right?
You know,
yeah, on a Saturday.
But what's bad about having an 8 o'clock doctor's appointment is like you got to fight the traffic.
Yeah,
like and that is you got to leave the house at like pretty much prime rush hour. Like the doctor from my house should not take more. With no traffic, takes like 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
30 minutes max.
Then you're hour 20, pal.
Yeah, I left for an 8 o'clock appointment. I left at 7 o'clock, thinking an hour would be plenty of time.
Sure.
Nape.
I walked through the doctor's office door at 8:01. I thought because you know how they are sometimes. You're like 10 minutes late, and they're like, we have to reschedule your appointment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or they're like, we're gonna have to fit you in.
Yeah.
When we can.
Yes, sit for an hour or two, and we'll see if we can get to you.
Right. Exactly.
Ugh.
Exactly. But I needed to get this done because it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. I've been watering the lawn every day because they came to aerate and seed it, and it hasn't been raining, so I've had to water the lawn every day.
Yeah, it has been pretty dry.
So I move the sprinklers around and I do stuff and this and that. And when I came in from outside, one of my toes felt like kind of weird, but I wasn't paying it any attention. And then it started like hurting a little bit, and I looked down at it, and like the nail was all like bloody.
Oh
man. On my right foot, my middle toe.
Middle toe.
And I was like, that's weird. Why is it bleeding? So then I look closer at the nail.
Yeah.
And it's basically like torn almost all the way across.
Oh God.
Yeah. Now, something like that, you would think like, oh my God, excruciating pain.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. Number one, I have no idea how it happened, and number two, couldn't feel shit. It just felt weird. It didn't hurt.
Yeah, because your toenail ripped off.
Well, no, when I washed it, then it hurt.
Yeah.
When I got it wet to wash it, then it hurt.
Yeah.
So then I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, damn, man, I don't know. This is kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I put a Band-Aid and Neosporin on it, and I went to work. And then when I had a chance to like Google it, a lot of sites said, the nail will grow back, but pretty much every site says if your nail is going to fall off or something like that, you should go to see a podiatrist.
Okay.
To have them look at it because you don't want it to get infected.
Right.
So then I went to the podiatrist today, and I thought he was going to say, like, yeah, you just put a Band-Aid on it and let it grow.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You shouldn't have come in here. What are you doing?
Yeah. No, he looks at it and he goes, oh, yeah, we're going to have to take that off.
Oh,
and
God.
Oh, God.
And I was like,
I
I figured it would go either way.
I just threw up a little.
But I was hoping it would have been the, we'll just put a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
So it was like a minor surgery. He had the but it was all Novocaine'd up.
Yeah, of course.
So I didn't feel anything. So he puts like this, and what I appreciated, by the way, because putting a needle into your toe is really not great. There's not a lot down there, and it could hurt like hell. He sprayed my toe where he put in the needles with like this spray.
Surface Novocaine.
Yeah, like completely numbed it out. Like it just felt cold. And he was like, I could see him. He was poking all down there with the needle and getting it on. I didn't feel it.
They do that in the dentist now.
Yeah, I think it's good. And then Novocaine it up, didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
So then he he was going to work down there. Like he clipped it out and dug it out and everything. And I was like, all right, but I didn't feel anything. He's like, yeah, just look at your phone. He's like, and that's what I did. I was looking at my phone.
Yeah.
He was doing it. And then, and he said that he got it out. He's like, it's fine. But it takes he said it could take 5 months for the nail to fully grow back.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
I wouldn't expect it to grow right back.
Yeah. So I have a follow-up appointment in 3 weeks.
But have you looked at it?
No, it's all dressed up.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I've lost a nail before on my hand, and it's super weird.
Yeah.
Ooh, on your hand.
Yeah, I fell on a picture frame. I was holding a picture frame, and the glass shattered and ripped my pinky nail off of my right hand. It's weird. It's like just skin.
Yeah.
It's nothing fancy.
You just got to wait for the nail. You
Right.
gotta wait for the nail to grow back.
Oh, that is nasty.
I think the area under the nail, I mean, it's fine. I think the reason it bleeds, I guess, is because the skin kind of sticks to your nail.
Yeah,
There's like under there, yeah.
But do you have to do anything as far as taking care of it as it's growing?
No, he said just put a Band-Aid on it every day. And I'm like, what, Neosporin and all that? He's like, no, you don't need it.
Wow.
That's why it leads me to believe it's not like an open porous area.
Right.
I think it's just why it was bleeding is because it just separated from the skin.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry to gross everybody out.
Yeah, this is like the worst topic of history.
Yeah. But it was a mystery though. That was the thing I couldn't figure out.
Right. That's
how
really
it happened.
weird.
Allie.
Yeah.
Maybe you sleepwalk.
Yeah. No, but I noticed it when I came in from outside.
Maybe you stubbed it and didn't realize it's possible.
Clearly.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but you know, usually when you stub your toe, you
Well, you were in the zone, man. You were aerating and watering and seeding.
I guess so.
So I know now that everybody is going to say, Mark, you say this every year on the podcast.
Oh.
Every year.
But last year, if you remember, now I said if the Redskins were let me down, if they were not to make the playoffs last year, I said I was done.
Mm-hmm.
But the season started up, and how could I not start rooting for them? After Monday night's performance, I am telling you now, I am done caring about the Redskins.
Yeah.
Look, I'll root for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm done caring. I'm done investing. I'm done giving them my fandom. And I'm telling you right now, you will see me soon on social media posing with my Baltimore Ravens shirt on.
Wow.
Yeah, you gotta get a Ravens jersey, man.
Because I don't care. They lost, but this past week they lost, but they played like they cared.
Right.
They played with heart.
They almost won.
Yes.
That was a difficult game. I mean, Kansas City's probably the best team in the league.
Yeah.
They played them pretty well. Yeah.
I was impressed. And again, I just like that they just play with passion, with a meaning.
Well, and I have to tell you, it's just that organization is so professional, and they have a lot of good people working behind the scenes.
So is that the difference? Would you say that's what the Redskins?
Yeah, it's the
Daniel
back office
Snyder?
decisions. It's from the owner on down. The owner is a really good guy. The GM is a really good guy. His staff is all full of good people. It's just a good organization. And you could see the Ravens consistently are always at least in the playoffs, pretty much. They had a couple of bad years recently. Yeah, playoffs. Yeah, and and now that they have Lamar Jackson, they're a really fun team to watch.
Yeah, they are really good.
But I feel your pain because I went through the same thing several years ago.
Right.
Where I just finally stopped caring, and then you got mad, understandably.
Yes.
And gave me shit for it.
And I've had people on social media that were saying the same thing I used to say. Oh yeah, I feel your pain, but there's no way I'm getting off this bus.
Yeah.
Hail to the Redskins forever.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I was there with you too a couple of years ago, but no more.
I used to be that too back in my day.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Maybe if they ever get new coach, new owner, maybe then I'll give it a new
chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, I'll cheer for them if they're on, but
Yeah.
I am going to passionately cheer for the Ravens.
Yeah, they're just I
should have left when I did in '95, man. I haven't had one pain, not one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Riggins retired, and so did I, champ. So
Pretty
did
much.
I.
Pretty much.
Oh, a little too much football talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, sports. Go sports.
So, but you know what I like to do is kind of mix up all of my passions.
In the news.
You guys I'm going to assume. Jonah, maybe not, because he doesn't really follow sports a lot. But
Great.
Everybody knows there's all this controversy around Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm. I know all about Antonio Brown. Thank you very much.
Wide receiver, Pittsburgh Steelers. Really, arguably, could be one of the best wide receivers in the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of trouble. The Patriots picked him up. They released him.
Oakland.
Well, Oakland first, but then he went to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm curious, Lowell, you may have heard this as a news person, but have you heard some of the recent allegations from, I think it's a team doctor. It's actually one of his doctors.
I have heard this. Thank you very much.
I haven't.
You know, maybe you should ask Jonah. maybe a little respect.
That's fair. But now look, before I'm going to preface this and say, we don't condone this behavior, but you can't help not to laugh a little bit.
It's kind of a funny story.
Okay, so let me give you the setup with this short news story from KDKA.
A Pittsburgh doctor is the latest filing a lawsuit against former Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown. Monroeville's Dr. Victor Prisk says in the lawsuit, Brown owes him $11,500 in unpaid fees. In addition to that, the New York Post says the doctor claims Brown repeatedly passed gas in his face and laughed about it. TMZ obtained a video of an appointment of August of last year where Brown can be heard breaking wind and laughing as Prisk tests his body fat. Prisk told Sports Illustrated, quote, "It seemed just childish to me. I'm a doctor, and this man is farting in my face." Katie Johnston for KDKA News.
First of all, why is there a video of a doctor's appointment?
Yeah, how'd they get a video of it?
Guess who's got the video to play for you guys?
Oh.
So I've seen this video, and it's got to be either one of his teammates or he has somebody else. Maybe it's an assistant. Somebody's in the room filming this.
I see.
The doctor is taking his body fat measurements, and you may think maybe they're just recording it because there he is, this amazing specimen of a man standing there. So first, here is, right out of the gate, the first one.
Damn, my bad, dog. Shitty.
Do you hear him giggling? Here it is again.
Yeah.
Damn, my bad, dog. Shitty.
All right, so, right there, as the doctor, you're like, okay, whatever. I'm sure he's seen and heard worse.
Right.
And maybe he thought, whatever, it just slipped out. So now the doctor is up right against him, taking those measurements, and really impressed with the fact that he's having such a hard time taking the measurements.
You can get that when you're so lean there. It's pretty freaking low. I've done some bodybuilders, and this is pretty freaking low. I gotta stay away. Damn, bad. Damn.
The doctor says, I gotta stand away. Well, listen again.
You can get that when you're so lean there. It's pretty freaking low. I've done some bodybuilders, and this is pretty freaking low. I gotta stay away. Damn, bad.
Now, see, when we were 16, and if we were to have done that, that would have been fantastic.
Celebratory.
Yeah.
Celebratory.
But you can't help not to laugh. I'm just surprised this hasn't really been a little more mainstream. I would think that more people would be talking about it.
Yeah, how's this not all over the place?
I heard it on the radio the other day.
This guy has got some serious problems.
Oh, my God.
Serious problems.
Let's see. I want to also, Lowell, you texted me, and it was perfect timing because you said, hey, for the show, I want to talk about Allie and I just got in a fight about me using my phone.
Right.
And I had gotten in a very similar fight, I think, that night before. So tell us about it because he didn't give me any details.
Yeah, no, it's the long and short of it is, so we were on the porch hanging out, and we had made conscious effort to put our phones down, right?
So you guys established that out of the gate.
Yeah. So then Allie got called into the house by one of the kids, and then she said she was going to go to the bathroom and stuff.
Yeah.
So when she left, I picked up the phone and started looking and texting, and I might have even texted you or somebody else. I don't know. I was using my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And she came back and sat down and I was still on my phone finishing up the text, and then I was going to put my phone down.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, you're on your phone. Great." And I'm like, but listen, the rule is you left.
Right.
You left, and then I picked up the phone, and I was just finishing up what I was doing, and then I was going to put the phone down.
Right.
And we could go back to normal.
Uh-huh.
Did she
But
know
she
that,
took it as
though?
like, But she took it as like I was just picking up the phone and starting, and I said, it's fair game if you leave. If you leave and I'm just sitting here, what's the difference?
That's true, of course, but...
Now, be honest, did she like just sit down and it was like a minute in and she called you out on it? Or was it like 10 minutes?
She had sat down and I was finishing the text. Okay, so maybe like 15 seconds.
Okay, so under a minute for sure.
Yeah, and like I was just finishing the text and she called me out and I was like, well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
And I said, you left, so I was just finishing what I was doing and I was going to put it down and we could go back to what we were doing.
Yeah.
And then she finally saw what I was saying, and then I was like, oh, let me text Marc now to tell him this would be good.
Please allow me
I was
to
like,
text.
can I have a moment to text Marc this funny idea?
So that's true. So the question is, like, what is the texting etiquette? There's kind of a couple of layers, because one is the obvious. So is it okay? What would you say, Jonah? Is it allowed if she leaves the room, if you've established you're not going to be using your phones, is it allowed to pick it up while she's gone?
Yes, but especially if it's like a thing and you guys are like being intentional, you got to be sensitive. And as soon as you hear her coming back, you got to put that phone down. The fact that you kept texting even 15 seconds to me is the offense. Or at least you needed to say, I know, but you were gone, so I was just texting. Let me finish this sentence.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I have been in these kinds of arguments before, because it's like, we're hanging out, everything's great. She gets up, maybe she's got to go use the restroom or whatever it is, and I'm sitting by myself and I get bored and I'm going to use the phone. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And there has to be some kind of forgiveness with like a 30-second tolerance, or something.
You get like a little. Yeah, you get that little 15 to 30 second window there.
Right.
All right, but the one thing I would say here is, and I think this all the time when like Megan and I are out at dinner and like she goes to the bathroom and I'm sitting at the table by myself. The instinct is, of course, to reach for your phone and like check in, see what's up. I don't know. I just feel like it's so stupid. Like we've lost the ability to just sit for like a minute.
I mean, I know what you're saying.
Be.
Yeah, I know what you're saying for sure.
Yes, but aside from that, because one of the things that we also will argue is like, so let's say that happens and she comes in, and sometimes it'll be she just starts talking to me and I'll say, maybe I'm in mid-text to Lowell, or I'm in mid-conversation via text with Lowell. And she'll get mad if I'm not paying attention to her. And I think that people just assume, well, if you're texting, I'm allowed to interrupt your conversation.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not
right.
Cool.
But I get it from the other side, because it's like, oh, you're buried in your phone, you're not paying attention to me.
Right.
But if I were on the phone actually speaking to you, she wouldn't have walked in and been mad or just flat out interrupted in the middle of a conversation I was having with you. So I feel like it should be the texting etiquette. I think that's okay. You should be allowed to finish your conversation and maybe not pay attention to the person just entering the room.
I mean, I guess you could just say, I gotta go.
Right.
But
still, you need a minute or two to wrap it up.
Yeah, at least to say I gotta go, but the person who's entering the room doesn't know that you're about to wrap up. Like, for all they know, you're just on your phone. And like, if I don't say anything to Megan, she'll stay on her phone for like 20 minutes, until I say something, and then God willing, she'll wrap up. But yeah, you got to like verbalize that thing. It's not assumed.
By the way, speaking of phone, I did get my new iPhone.
Oh yeah, with your wide angle shots.
Yeah, I sent you. Yeah, the camera's cool. I told you I was excited for the camera.
Right, and that's what else?
It's got 3 cameras in it.
It does. Here, I'll show it to you.
Oh wow. Why? That's what makes the photos better?
Yeah, they're much better quality photos. You can do more things like a wide angle, so you can get more. You can zoom in further without losing that high quality. I think it was like a 2-time zoom. Now it's a 4-time zoom. So it's just cool, and you can do a lot of cool editing and stuff on the fly with it.
Right on.
I enjoy it, but I will admit, really probably not worth it. I had the 10S. I didn't really need the upgrade.
Right.
I have the 10S. Yeah. How much is the brand new iPhone?
Well, it depends which one you get, but you can actually get the regular iPhone 11, I think brand new, under $500.
God.
I have the big screen one. It's like the XR. What is it? I don't know what it is. XS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the XS Max.
The big one, Max. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. But this I upgraded from a 6.
Yeah, and that's where it makes a huge difference. That's what I'm saying, because with mine, it's like one model up. It's not that big of a difference.
Right.
But I will say, I told you one of the things I was excited about was the battery life.
Mm-hmm.
This battery life is kicking ass.
That sucks, because even 10's battery life, I just think it sucks.
I know. I was very disappointed with the iPhone 10 battery life. This one, I have it and use it a full day's worth. And the old one, I'd get home. If I didn't charge it, it'd be almost dead by the time I get home from work.
Every day.
This one, I still have like 65, 70%
wow.
easily.
That's awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Before we wrap up, Lowell, I want to know about this parent that apparently there's a parent of one of Reed's friends at school that listens to the show.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like, they went to Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Penn State, so and our kids had lessons together, or swimming lessons together.
Uh-huh.
And what's interesting is Reed's name is Reed Matthew.
Yep.
And their son's name is Reed Matthew.
Weird.
Oh, wow, okay.
So total weird coincidence and everything, right?
Yeah.
So recently, Allie ran into her wife.
Her wife?
Or to her mother, ran into the kid's mother, and they were talking, whatnot. And we've known them now for a couple of years.
Okay,
because the kids went to the daycare together and all that. So this is several years already.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, yeah, and my husband, he found out about Lowell listening to the podcast.
Okay.
Like, he didn't even know. So he's been listening to our podcast. He's been listening to our podcast for over 2 years, and he's never once said anything to me about it. And I used to see him like every Sunday at the pool and everything, and like would never said a word about it.
And so obviously then he knew it was you.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like could have been a different Lowell, right? I mean,
right.
He knew
with
it was
a different Reed son.
So
right.
did you ask him?
Well, he said that they found out that our son was named Reed Matthew from the podcast. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So you got to ask him why he never confronted you and said, I listen.
I know. I feel like doing that, but at the same time, I don't feel like doing that. You know?
Yeah. It does change the dynamic.
Yeah. But I just found it so strange. He's like, yeah, we found out about Reed Matthew from listening to the podcast.
It would have been a little creepy if he was like, yeah, we named ours Reed Matthew because you guys.
The podcast. Yeah.
All right, that will do it for the Marc and Lowell Show. Please go to Facebook, go to Twitter, friend and follow us over there. And don't forget, go to marcandlowell.com and use all of those Amazon banners you see. All you got to do is click them, do your shopping, and we get a little commission. So thank you in advance for that. If you need that information or any other information, Marc and Lowell, just go to marcandlowell.com.
And you can get me on TikTok at Newsmaker22.
Indeed. And for more information on the Glen Martin Wind Tunnel and hurricanes, log on to WBALTV.com. In College Park, Lowell Melser, WBAL, TV 11 News.
That's an old one.
That's one of your first ones, probably.
Right.
And a special thanks to Jonah Berger.
Hey, if you want to get me, you can get me on www.gotthepictures-get-off-the-phone-and-talk-to-your-wife.com.
Oh, that's a long one.
Ooh, yeah.
And a big shout out to Buzz Burbank, RJ Diaz, Aaron Lamb, and everybody else who helps us with this show. For Lowell Melser, I'm Marc Ronick. We will see you next time on the Marc and Lowell Show.
Bye-bye.
Oh, wait, Jonah, real quick. What's your new level poop story?
Oh, she just started. She had her first brown poop. Her
Oh.
first real dude.
Because you're giving her solids.
Solids. Ground
Oh, yeah.
ground beef, boys.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's
Been
nasty.
Been there, done that.
It's in all of her folds.
Yes.
It's
Oh yeah, you
almost
gotta
her
get in
belly
them,
button.
get in them folds, baby.
Oh my God, dude! I used 800 wipes. I didn't even care. I was just like grabbing handfuls of wipes.